Today on Cider's Woodcrafting, we'll be making this, a Rustic American flag, 66.5 inches by 35 inches with hand-carved stars. Join me, let's have some fun. So here I'm going to be ripping pine into the 2.962 inches, which is the guidelines for this size of flag. 13 stripes. And here I'm going to be cutting the backer braces at 34 inches. Yeah, my flag's 35 inches tall. I like to do 34 inches. I'm just burning the strips. I like to burn them before I assemble everything. Burn both sides, it just makes it so much easier, and it's a pretty big time saver. That's my workshop in the background. It is a camper. So now all I'm going to do is arrange the grain, kind of find the best grain that I like. And then I use this stencil. I'll put a link in the stencil in the description below for the stars. Now the razor blades, I'm using those to kind of separate the grain, the fibers of the wood, so that when I stain the boards, it doesn't bleed over into the other boards. I can't take credit for this. A lot of other YouTubers are doing this. And I just like the idea and thought I'd give it a try. The big tip is make sure that there's no gaps in between. And next I'm going to apply stain. And I use the minwax wood stain clear tintable base. Get it at Lowe's. And I'm just applying the blue, and then I wipe it off. You want to get it. Off within 3 minutes. Try not to leave it on more than 3 minutes, because it can get really dark. And if you want that wood grain to show through, you want to get that off. So, and then next is the red. And I am applying it to the end grain of the boards as well. And then just wiping it off. And I put all my pieces back together with the white and everything. And then I've numbered the boards so that I can tell from underneath. I number them in between on the sides. And now I'm just marking out where I want my backers to be. So I usually go about 3 inches from each end, and then I measure a foot off of the 3-inch mark, and then 2 feet, and then I go over to the other side and I do the same thing, and then it gives me my equal spacing that I like. And then I'm just drilling, and then drilling the holes for the just using drywall screws, drilling the holes, and then I'm just doing having a brain fart on the word countersinking. There we go. I'm countersinking the screw heads. I use the hammer there to kind of make sure everything's nice and flat. The double-sided stick tape, I don't know if you saw that. I use double-sided stick tape just on the 2 ends, just so when I'm drilling, the board doesn't move around on me. And then I just screw everything down. It's always a really cool feeling to flip it over and see that, American pride there. So now I'm going to be using the Dremel 3000, and I bought an attachment for it at Lowe's. It was like $4 for it. It's a little fan, and that fan is so amazing. I'm going to show you here. It helps blow the dust away while you're working, and so you don't have to I'll still have to stop a little bit, but not as much as I would have to stop if I didn't have that. And it's a great tip. And I think I'm using the bit number 105. And here's that stencil again. I'll have a link in the description below for that. I'm just tracing out all the stars with a pencil. My wife decided she wanted to say hello. There she is. Now, all I'm doing is just tracing the outline, and you'll see as we get closer to the end here that I kind of realized a faster way to do this, and a lot easier, and I'll explain that when we get to that point. Now we're going to be getting to the point where I realized that I found an easier way. So now, how this is going faster is I'm just able to keep my body in the same position, and then just trace out those lines and just go back through and do all the stars in that order. And it was a lot easier and a lot faster. And here I missed 2 stars. So now what I have to do is go back and just trace those. So I'm just lining up my template. And it's not a big deal. I was a little upset when I realized it, but I guess I could have messed up in a lot worse of ways, so. And then I just hit it back with the Dremel again. And then I skipped this part because this was kind of a long, tedious part. I have the router base accessory for the Dremel. I'll put a link on the description, and I think I'm using the bit 107 for the Dremel on this. And right here, there's a couple stars I just couldn't get in there with the base because it was just a little bit of a warp in the board. So I'm taking it off and I'm just going to clean them up. And then I'm going to go back through and clean up the rest of the stars. Clean up the edges and make sure that it looks nice and neat. And I torch the stars to kind of match the torching of the white stripes. And then I get ready for the polyacrylic clear coat. It's a water base. And then I'm going to sand it in between the coat. And then apply a second coat. I usually do about 2 or 3 coats of this, and then I'm already going to flip it over and I'm going to show you. I'm going to do the back again now, but I'm going to apply my brand right in the middle. Right there it was. And then I apply 2 more coats of this. I don't show you the sanding in between of this one. And then I'm going to be mounting the brackets. Now I like to go about 1.5 inches down from the top. It depends on the bracket that you get. I got some pretty heavy duty ones at Lowe's. And yeah, they're pretty massive mounting brackets. So now we get the fun part of taking this out of the camper. Look at that shine in the sun, and there we go. So this is my first video, and I would really appreciate any shares, likes, comments. I'd like your honest opinion, please. I will do my best to comment, reply to every comment. So please give me a follow. Thank you so much.